Hey everyone, it's Bricks in College here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Bricklink Designer Program. I'm going to discuss my thoughts on the program as a whole and my specific thoughts on the Series 1 sets. Now, this video is a little bit late, as the Series 1 sets have already gone for sale and some of them have already sold out. But even if you're only interested in one of the Series 1 sets that is already sold out, this video will still be valuable to you. Because in addition to covering the sets that are currently available for sale and the program as a whole, I'll discuss why you shouldn't feel too bad about having missed out on some of these sets. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Bricklink is and what the Bricklink Designer Program is. If you already know this information, you can skip to this time to be able to move on to my thoughts about the current sets. Bricklink is the largest online LEGO marketplace. Anyone can buy and sell sets, pieces, or minifigures off of Bricklink, and the organization of the website makes it very easy to find exactly what you need. I find that Bricklink often has great deals on LEGO things I want, especially for retired sets. If you haven't been on Bricklink, I would highly recommend checking it out. The Bricklink Designer Program is an opportunity for fans of LEGO to have their sets made into actual official sets. In 2018, Bricklink launched this program with the LEGO Group under the name AFOL Designer Program. AFOL standing for Adult Fans of LEGO. Fans were able to submit entries which would then be crowdfunded and made into actual sets. In 2019, Bricklink was bought by the LEGO Group, and in 2021 they had another series of fan-made sets, this time called the Designer Program Invitational. During the Invitational, LEGO Ideas users who had received 10,000 votes but had not been selected for their idea to become a set were invited to have their set become official through Bricklink. Only 10,000 copies of each of these sets were made, and they were very popular. In 2023, Bricklink brought back the Bricklink Designer Program, only this time anyone could submit a design to be considered. These designs are voted on, and then 5 are selected in each series to be crowdfunded. Once a set is in the crowdfunding stage, it will become available for pre-order, and if 3,000 units are pre-ordered, the set will be made. A limit of 30,000 copies is placed on each set, and they will be shipped about 6 months after the pre-orders are made. Currently, Series 1 is in the crowdfunding stage, which is what I'll talk about for the rest of this video. Series 2 and 3 have had their finalist sets selected, and Series 4 is being voted on, but I'll talk about those sets in future videos. Crowdfunding for Series 1 began on February 7th and will last until February 28th, or until all the sets have sold out their 30,000 copies. And now here are the sets for Series 1. The 5 sets are the Old Train Engine Shed, Mountain Fortress, Parisian Street, General Store, and Snack Shack. Now at the time of recording this video, you can see that 3 of these sets have already sold out. But I want to tell you that even if you really want one of the sets that sold out, you shouldn't feel too bad that you didn't get it. I'll talk about why later in the video, but if you only want to hear that part, skip to the part shown on screen. All 5 of the sets in Series 1 look amazing, so even if I have criticisms for them or make comparisons between them, I want to make it clear that I like all of them. Going over each of them, I will start with the Old Train Engine Shed. This was made by Mind the Brick and has 2,331 pieces at a price of $230. This build really strikes me with its realism. The use of slight color variation to show wear on the outside of the old shed makes it a lot more interesting and realistic than if it had just been one solid color. This really looks like something that you might see in some worn down part of town still being used to fix up trains. I think the shed looks amazing, and I'm glad that they added an extra layer of track to be able to put more trains on the side. I'm also impressed by the smaller details of the build, like how good the telephone pole right outside the shed looks. The inside of the shed is filled with all the tools needed to get a train engine back in shape. The tools are very well built, and I love the crane that runs along the top of the shed. Everything about this set is realistic, and it would make a perfect addition to a LEGO city that is filled with accurate looking mocks of buildings. Next up is the Mountain Fortress by Sleepless Night with 3,995 pieces. This is an imposing fortress that makes a good companion to the Lion's Night Castle from 2022. The mountain setting is shown through the use of white pieces to make snow on the ground, icicles, and the fact that the castle takes up a lot of vertical space, as if they did not have a large flat surface on which to build it and so had to keep the footprint small. There's something about the large tower rising up through the castle that is menacing, which I think is what the designer was going for. Between that, the ramparts, the arrow slits, the drawbridge, and the portcullis, this entire structure is really imposing and would make anyone think twice about attacking it. And all these features are well designed and look very accurate to pictures of castles and castles that I've seen in real life. The interior of the build is not too detailed, lacking detail compared to the Lion Knight's castle. But to be honest, I don't think that this is a huge issue, as it would be fairly easy for builders to create their own stories inside, adding the details they feel are important. The third set is The Parisian Street by Nicolas Carlier, which comes with 3,532 pieces and costs $320. This is a great set for people who like the Haussmann style of architecture seen all over Paris. This set depicts part of a city block with a number of shops and apartment buildings above them. The architecture looks realistic, and the shops below show the street alive with things to do. The set is not a full modular. The backside is left exposed, but in a way, I prefer that. It makes it easier to display this on narrow shelves and gives the street more to see when on display. The interior of the shops are well detailed, and so are the interior of the apartments. They seem cozy and would make great places for minifigures to live. Parisian architecture is famous, and we haven't had a set that depicts the way apartment buildings look in Paris since the Parisian restaurant. This set looks beautiful on a shelf, and it has a presence in a single set that most modulars can't even achieve, because they're just not able to be this long and still be within their piece budget. The fourth set we have is the General Store, made by iLucky with 1,906 pieces. This is an amazing recreation of a general store from the Wild West. I love how detailed the exterior is to make the store feel worn down because of the harsh conditions of the outside world. The designer achieved this by breaking up the use of the plate elements with some quarter circle plates and some grills. If you look closely at pictures of this, you'll see that the walls are built using a technique of having studs at an angle, with multiple plates stacked on top of each other to end up having the walls going straight up and down. It's a really interesting and unique style that I've never seen before. The interior is also well designed. I love stores that are just overfilled with things to buy. This store reminds me a lot of the old fishing store from the Ideas line in that respect. Looking at this store really transports me to its Wild West setting. I can imagine seeing this on the outskirts of some small town and walking in and being overwhelmed by the amount of things to buy. Lastly, the carriage adds a little bit of playability to the set that also looks very accurate. The final set is the Snack Shack by Distracted Builder with 539 pieces for $50. This is by far the smallest set of the wave, with less than a third the price and number of pieces as the second smallest. That doesn't stop it from being packed with detail though. The converted Airstream camper has a nice curvature and the door looks very realistic. The inside is packed with cooking appliances that look amazing. This is the type of place that you go to buy a cheap sandwich and a bag of chips on a nice day at the beach, and you really get that setting with the surrounding area that the designer added to the set. I might actually like this one the most because it managed to make an amazing looking build with much fewer pieces than any of the others. Now, I think this program as a whole is a great idea. I'm always happy to see more LEGO sets being created, and I think that the LEGO fan community can make some amazing creations, so it's great to give the opportunity for those fan-made sets to become official. In my opinion, mocks and official LEGO sets often have very different feelings to them, even if they are similar in size, and each of these sets has a distinct mock-like look to it. That comes with some upsides and some downsides. Of course, the mock-like look makes sense as these were fan-designed. A major difference between these sets and LEGO Ideas sets is that the Ideas sets bring the idea from the fan but are ultimately redesigned by the LEGO designers. These sets are entirely made by fans, with only pointers from official designers. Because of this, people say that the build experience and techniques used are not as fluid or sturdy as official LEGO sets. These sets are targeted towards adults though, and specifically adults who have a lot of experience building LEGO sets. So even if the build is difficult, it should be manageable by someone in the target audience. Mocks tend to have a lot of design details, and I can definitely tell that in these sets. From the use of mixed colors in the old train engine shed to show its wear, to the random items placed around the general store. Overall, I think this is a good thing, but it should be said that it can drive up the piece count. Even things like the base around the Snack Shack and general store add to the environment, but increase the piece count significantly. Now, as much as I love official fan-made sets, I do have some issues with these sets. First is that the sets are quite large. It makes sense why people voted for them. Large sets tend to be more interesting than small sets, but small sets are more manageable for most collectors, and the LEGO community is also great at making smaller mocks. The Snack Shack does a good job at a lower price point, but I wish one or two others could have been around or below the $100 price threshold as well. On the topic of price, I also think that these sets are a bit more expensive than I would have liked. Maybe it's asking too much, but I was hoping that these sets would be about 10 to 20% cheaper than they ended up being. The previous Bricklink Designer Program sets often had a better part per piece ratio than these did. These are very close to 10 cents per piece, which is often considered a LEGO standard, but we have to consider that these are not branded sets and that these sets introduce no new elements or prints, which should make them cheaper overall. Seeing as 3 of these have sold out already, clearly the price ended up working out for LEGO, so I doubt we will see cheaper prices going forward, and I accept that, but it still bums me out a little bit. Another thing about these sets is that while they're amazing mocks, many of them work best if you already have a display set up, some kind of diorama or city. I think the old train engine shed looks amazing, but I have no reason to get it because I don't think it would make much sense on its own. So it really is for people who already have a city set up with trains. The same problem exists, though to a lesser extent, with all of the sets except the Mountain Fortress, in my opinion, and in many of the sets chosen in future series. I still think that these are amazing sets, and I'm happy for everyone who does have the setup to display them, and I understand why people voted for these, but I would like to see more standalone sets in the future. Finally, I don't like that these sets are restricted to 30,000 copies each. I understand not wanting these to be a full release, but I think LEGO still could have just made as many as were pre-ordered in the month that pre-orders are available, rather than artificially making a restriction on the number of sets they would make. Limiting availability just makes people feel bad that they missed it, and provides a great opportunity for scalpers to try to buy up products that they don't even want, just to resell them again. I have found listings of the Mountain Fortress already available on eBay for around 3 times the price it was sold for, which is ridiculous. However, on that topic, as promised, I would mention why you shouldn't feel bad if you didn't get one of these sets, even if you want one. And especially why I implore you not to buy these sets from scalpers. First, question if you really wanted the set or if you just liked it because of its exclusivity. I can totally understand liking something because it's rare and exclusive, and fear of missing out is a big thing in our psychology. But even if you do just want something exclusive, you should know that this is becoming a more official program. There will now be more opportunities to get these sets. There are already 3 more series that have been announced, and given the success of the program so far, I would be surprised if there weren't more. So if you want something exclusive, this will not be your only time to get it. Now, if you did specifically want one of these sets, still don't worry. As I said earlier, these sets introduce no new elements or prints that don't already exist in LEGO's portfolio. Because of that, in 6 months, when pre-orders start to get shipped and the instructions become available online, it'll be very easy to find all the pieces needed to start building these sets and order them directly, assembling the set without ever owning the actual thing. Like I said earlier, Bricklink makes it super easy to buy individual pieces you need, and even to mass buy pieces for a set. So doing this will give you a perfect replica of the set except for the stickers. But there are plenty of websites you can find that will print stickers for you, including stickers specifically for LEGO pieces. And through those, you'll be able to get the last piece you need for these sets. The Mountain Fortress, for example, sold out in about 3 hours, and I've seen many comments from people lamenting that they weren't able to get it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the price to part out the set ends up being similar to the price of the set itself. If you didn't get one of these sets that is already sold out, you'll still have an opportunity to build it in the future. If you really want one, I encourage you to look at the instructions when it comes out and get the pieces from your collection from LEGO or from Bricklink instead of spending a lot of money to buy this set secondhand online. I'll try to have a video out soon showing how to do this for any set on Bricklink, but there are also plenty of other tutorials online you can find. Overall, I'm really happy that LEGO and Bricklink are continuing a program like this. I plan to make more videos about this program in the future, and I hope that they do continue this program past just the 4 series that are announced right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.